I'm Megan Skidmore. For 2.5 years, I have been talking about evolving faith journeys. I started to tire of the heaviness of this focus. I had the clear message come through. It is time for Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast to evolve into Living Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast. With the same vulnerability and unapologetic authenticity, I will be focusing on the joy in this journey, the life and the living that comes on the other side of maybe, on the other side of what's possible. I want to talk about claiming spiritual sovereignty and becoming your own captain of your vessel. Let's celebrate releasing what no longer aligns for you and connecting with your higher power and honor expanding your energy field to make room for all things new. The vibration is high this month on Living Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast. Pretense is dropped and caution thrown to the wind in each interview. I am dropping a new episode daily, spotlighting one of the amazing, soul-led, heart-centered authors of Joan of Arc Publishing, or JOA Publishing, founded by Keira Brinton. Like the namesake for this publishing house, each one embodies the fearless, God-centered spirit left by the legacy of Joan of Arc. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single one. Welcome to today's episode. If you have been following along, you know I'm dropping an episode each day, spotlighting one of our amazing souls that are part of either the JOA Collective or the Mosaic Network. And today I have Nekita Reyna with me, who is actually part of the behind the scenes team. You're one of the team members, and you recently joined fall of 2024, if I am remembering correctly. And I'm so excited for you to come on and share how you became connected and know Keira and became a part of and your experience, and also some of your faith journey as well. So let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you for
Welcome,
having me.
Nekita. Yeah.
Yes, happy to be here.
So just share with us your background. Just tell us who you are, where you're from, your family, faith, maybe, education or professional pursuits, all the things.
Yeah, well, I am originally from Indiana. I'm from a small town in Indiana, and I grew up very conservative and traditional, but in the best way. I didn't know anything different, and I just I've come to discover since I moved to Phoenix that life was so small. And I really enjoy the duality of that now that I've been in Phoenix because I've learned the joys of growing up with a simple home and being outside and being in nature. And then the other side of that is really finding grace along my journey moving to, because now I live in Phoenix. I moved to Arizona 4 years ago. So I lived in Phoenix for 3.5 years, and I live in Sedona now. And it's just been this journey of really expanding my awareness. And so I know you touched on like what was my faith then, and I grew up in a Christian family. I wouldn't say that it was very strict or necessarily imposed on me, but I did have a lot of questions around God. And I remember feeling very just unsettled when those questions weren't answered of how is God everywhere and what does God do with certain people and so when I moved to Arizona, I kind of shut that word and that side of me completely off and started exploring different religions and just different healing modalities in the valley. And that allowed me to um, kind of find my own footing and my own relationship with God. And I remember when I first moved, I was part of this community that we did a different type of yoga called Kundalini yoga, and it's all about your life force energy. So it helped me moving to Phoenix to really find something new. And it wasn't until we were eating dinner after one of the yoga classes and we prayed. And I remember like feeling so at home in prayer to be able to combine these different practices together. So, yeah, it's just really been a journey since then of finding what God means to me and finding my home and myself in Arizona as a small town child who is used to having her family very close. So,
Is beautiful. I have only recently been introduced to the idea of Kundalini yoga. And so I don't know a lot about it. For somebody else in that situation, like how would you describe the difference between that and just, uh, you know, um, Hatha yoga? Is
yeah.
that what it's called?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, one of my pure core essence is receptivity. I feel very open to life's experiences. And so Kundalini, I remember getting invited like a month moving into Arizona, and I had no idea what it was about either. And for someone who doesn't look it up or hasn't heard of Kundalini before,
Mm,
it is a very unique practice.
mm.
It's designed to get you to train your ego, basically, to train your mindset. And so a lot of the movements, it's not like a flow. A lot of the movements are centered around breath work, and they have you do things that in ordinary life you would never do. Some of the kriyas and movements, but it's a way to get you out of your head and to push past this resistance of the mind. So my experience of Kundalini is I ended up in a flow state and it felt really good. So I ended up going every Tuesday. It was like my church for probably 2 years.
I can't wait to explore more of that. Thank you for sharing that, Nikita. So as you have this faith or spiritual, however you refer to it, what, if any, obstacles or challenges or, things that have come up along the way that have maybe given you pause or you've questioned, should I really be doing this? I mean, I caught that you said after class the one day they prayed, you felt so at home.
Mhm.
I'm wondering, there was a time before that, right, that you were maybe still in this exploratory phase and trying to find that feeling of home or looking for it. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm just curious, what, if anything, came up that was challenging or you found resistance to, and how did you work through that?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it is like this continuous journey because I did feel home in prayer, but that was just the beginning of my spiritual journey. And I would say for me is I was looking at my spirituality through the lens of wanting to fix myself. And the big illuminating thing in my life was binge eating. And so I think I know it was a way to self-soothe myself, but it was like I would dip my toe in spirituality. I would be invited into these expansive places with people that I felt like were so high level, so full of love, so successful. And then I would go back to my cocoon and soothe myself with food. And so it was really challenging because I felt like, what did I feel like? Um, it felt like I was playing a facade. Like so many people around me saw my light, they saw my beauty, they saw God in me. Like that was the feedback that I would be getting all the time. And so I think I struggled with a little bit of perfectionism and thinking that I had to get spirituality right and that I had to please God or not be in these because it was the same personality is or spirituality is also personal development. And so I was a lot down that road and the mindset and my beliefs and I have so much awareness in this life. And sometimes it felt like a detriment because I would see myself in the loop and not necessarily have the tools to get out and to come back to compassion. So yeah, to kind of put that in a tangible way, I feel like isolation, perfectionism, and not always really trusting myself, like trusting in my core identity, I would say were my biggest challenges.
Wow. So I caught, you said you didn't always have the tools to come back to compassion.
Mm.
What is one tool, if you can think of one that you can share briefly that you use to bring yourself back to compassion?
Mm. I take a lot of breaths. I would say the breath. I remember.
Love that.
I remember, yeah, I was part of just this amazing community of healers. They were naturopaths and musicians, and for me, it was breath work. And I was invited into this breath work session, that's someone that I get certified. So I had a period of time where every week I was receiving one-on-one breath work sessions, and they were very somatic. So it's easy to say, yes, the breath, but also like what was going on in between that, the shaking, the feeling which parts of my body had resistance and being held in that. Like that was so powerful and and the tool of verbal processing. Like I love to podcast, I love to share, I love to be seen in my thought process. Like it's so serving of me because for me, because when I finish it, I feel like I was able to communicate myself more. These pieces come together.
I am like that too.
Mhm.
I process through talking as well. So I love that you have so much heightened awareness about how you move through this world, how you move existence. You really cannot put a price or a value on that.
Mm.
I think that breaths are breathing exercises. Breaths in general is highly underestimated or misunderstood in, a fast-paced society that we have where everything is pretty much hustle culture. It's go, go, go. And one thing I have found in incorporating breathing work is it forces you to slow down. It interrupts those stress response cycles or stressful thoughts. You have to pause for a moment, and it
Mhm.
helps with interrupting that maybe thought spiral, you know,
Yeah,
um,
100%.
emotional overwhelm or the like.
It reminds me of last week when we sat with Jeremy during the breath work, and he said something that the mind heals the body and the breath heals the mind. And that really landed with me of being able to breathe into that spaciousness. It's so easy to go down these thought spirals. And by just taking the pause, it does it. It disrupts the process. It gives us room and space to consider something new. And that was powerful. I felt it in my bones.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember that too.
Mhm.
He is powerful. Maybe I can get him on the podcast.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So recently I've reimagined my podcast and I really am loving focusing on the joy,
Mm.
those blissful moments that come because these journeys, they're not easy. There's a lot of contraction and release, a lot of stretching and pulling and there's rest periods as well. I think it's these moments of where you see there is life on this side of this exploration. There's living, and it's a beautiful thing. And you start to feel maybe some of the fears release, maybe doubts, questions, and those kinds of things. And it's not, a point, there's no point of arrival, right? It's ongoing. But can you think of those moments of joy that you have experienced as you have just surrendered? You've allowed yourself to experience and to explore and incorporate new understandings and new
Mm.
insights into your journey.
Yeah. Well, I'm in love, so I can share my joy from there all day long.
Okay, go
And
for it.
yeah, I'm like
As part of my commitment to giving back, every first Friday of the month, I offer a free coaching hour. Anyone is welcome to join, and you may leave your camera off and change your name if you would like to remain anonymous. This is an opportunity to get introduced to my style of holistic coaching and what it would be like to work with me. Gain real skills, insight relevant to you, and fresh perspective on life circumstances. Each month is a different topic. For those attending, there will be opportunities for a complimentary one-off energy alignment session. Once registered, you will have access to discount codes for my other offerings. To get the link, including all the resources, register to complete the agreement at the link in the show notes.
I've had so many amazing experiences with my partner, and just a little bit of background on that. I remember being like, I'm this spiritual, crazy, like I'm so multifaceted, and going through it, I completely changed my identity. I had changed my name. I cut all my hair off at one point, and I got this little piercing. And I just remember looking in the mirror and being like, the judgment was so real. And you could feel it on my face, like this inflammation, these experiences that was going through. And I remember just asking, like, where will the compromise be? Will I meet someone that understands this part of me, but maybe they're not spiritual, or maybe they're like completely spiritual and cuckoo, and I have to like, and the business side of things and my desires for business because I love business and I love influence, and building things. And so that was like last year when I was really going through the trenches of it. And the more that I released, like you said, like this contraction and expansion that we go through, and the more that I just continued to breathe and trust in who I am and just take the next step. Dawson comes along, my partner, last fall. And when you asked me that question, first of all, he is like he's everything I could imagine. He like works in this, he has a job that's very expansive, and he is an estimator, a planner for the future. And he's also very spiritual, and he's very in tune with both masculine and feminine energy. And so this beautiful joy moment was when I first started working for Keira. I sold my friend into the island. And it was the first time that I like held the vision of someone so strong of a big investment like that, that they come in and I was like, I see you on the island. There's no other way. We had these calls where it was just chills, it was tears, it was joy and expansion. And I remember I got off the call and I went outside to Dawson and I was like, let's pray for my friend. And we stood in the garden with our feet in the dirt, and we held each other's hands and we prayed. And we prayed to, it evolved into like all of our loved ones, and tears were running down my face because it was just, I had my person. I had someone that I could share like the depth of how I feel and my awareness of how I'm always creating and stepping into these new realities. Like by me choosing to see that vision, Christy was also able to step into her choice of saying yes, of going into this version of her calling. So I love to be in prayer. I love to make light and joy of prayer. I love to be outside and be crazy. Like I said, I live in Sedona, so I will literally go outside and lunge in my underwear and just like run rampant.
It's you and the red rocks communing with
Yeah.
divine. I
Yes.
love it. That is amazing. So by leaning into all of this, Nikita, you learned there was no compromise to be had.
No. Yeah, and I still feel that so strongly. Like I'm, I feel like I'm on the other side of this realization journey where things get to be easy.
Oh,
And yeah.
that brings a little bit of tears, a little bit of emotion here. That
Mm.
is absolutely blissful moments.
Mm.
You talked about how you love business, you love being a part of that creation process. I'd be curious to know, I know you haven't written a book yet with JOA. However, your role right now is more in the business area. Can you share a little bit about what your role is as a team member? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm in sales. I'm on the sales process for Kira and also just community engagement. So making sure that everyone who enters JOA feels seen, they feel heard, they feel supported, and they also feel challenged. So being in a sales role allows me to, because I took a business slash personality assessment with Kira called Caliper, and I tested really high in power of influence. And so for me, sales allows me to, and working for Kira, allows me to take that power of influence and use it to challenge people into a new reality. Um, and so it's interesting. I never thought that I would be in sales. I went to school for psychology. I feel very connected to the healer side of me, like the heart healer. And that's what resonates with me the most. And so when I started going down the sales path, which I actually just joined because I wanted to work for Tony Robbins in healing. I wanted to be his like big dance person. And I was like, I'll just get my foot in the door with sales. And now it's turned into this journey of learning my own power, of learning that money is accessible and that whatever energy I want to put toward it, I will make it. Um, so yeah, it's been a really expansive ride.
Oh, I love that. So in so far, this journey you are on with JOA, have you thought about perhaps either writing a book? Do you feel one in there? Or there's also the option to write a chapter in one of the Mosaic Messages book
Mm,
that is, there's already been volume one and volume two published. I'm in volume two that just published, I think, last week.
amazing.
Um,
Congrats.
yeah.
You know, I didn't really have the desire at all until last week being in person. And then I realized that by writing a book, it would be the channel, the material, the course material for my life to work on and live out my purpose. And so, yeah, I never really dreamt that I would write a book. And now I'm craving it. And I'm craving to weave and tie in all of these journeys and stories that I've been on. Because I think one of the biggest challenges is having a clear offer and like this expectation that we have to like put the stake in the sand and know what is my purpose, what is my offering. And so that belief, I feel like I have such an entrepreneurial heart and spirit, and that belief of what is my offer, it keeps me from moving forward, from investing in myself and from just building out the thing. So I would really love to write a book now to see what comes through. Like what is the core essence of my message that feels most important to share now? And then I can work with that.
Nekita, I can't wait.
I
Oh
know.
my
Oh.
goodness. Now I'm craving it. Oh, so
Mm.
good. So, so good. Well, the final question I like to ask all my guests, it's reflective of the title of my podcast and not just my journey I'm learning, but all of our journeys. And that question is, what does it mean to you to live beyond the shadow of doubt?
Mm. Mhm. I will say I did not realize how much of a relationship I had with doubt until I moved into this home. And there's an old sage that lives next door to me, and we talk on the phone for hours. And I receive her wisdom I was pacing one day through the house of, well, I have this vision and I want to do this and I'm this healer and da, 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 da. And it just kept like building up and building up to a place of, oh, well, now it's not inspiration. It feels like anxiety because I'm not there. And she said something that landed in my cells to doubt the doubt. She was like, you need to doubt the doubt. She said it as a command. And she said, you need to write that on your fridge right now. and I wrote it big, doubt the doubt. And for me, it's been playing with it, playing with the doubt. For that phrase allowed it to become like, okay, I see you. I see you, doubt. And now I'm doubting the doubt. And it's fun. It's like it feels like it's inevitable to have this questioning, because it's the unknown.
Yeah.
But if we can choose to even doubt that feeling and to step forward is the most powerful.
What I love about what you have said, Nikita, is that that process for you at the core of it, at the heart of it is you are seeing yourself as separate from this doubt. It's no longer a part of maybe how you relate to the world, perhaps
Mhm.
part of your identity. You're able to hold it in this space of curiosity. And I
Yeah.
think that's the heart of, you talked about in Kundalini yoga, uh, it is this process of working with your ego, designed to train your ego. And this is being manifested, I believe, in how you are operating now with your perception or previous understanding of doubt.
Mhm.
So that's great. I think that's at the heart of all of this is what's needed for any of those sticky places for
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah. It all weaves together.
It
Getting
does.
beyond the mind, taking the breath to be beyond the mind. And then from that place of uncertainty, I get to choose. From the observer of doubt, I get to choose which direction I go.
Yes. So if folks wanted to learn more about uh, joining the JOA Collective, writing a book, writing a chapter, going to the island, they would contact you. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I feel so aligned with Kira's message. That's what my heart is devoted to right now. And so you can always look up Keira Brinton, and that'll take you to all of our offerings in JOA, as well as my Instagram handle is a.cuteawareness. So sometimes I'll connect with people through social media that come in Kira's realm, but we are always open and happy to serve. And that's what's been the most incredible part of meeting all of the powerful leaders. I just want to speak on that. Like, you are a powerful leader. And
I think the same about you.
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
So I will make sure and leave all of that information in the show notes so that
Yeah,
folks can access it and including your Calendly link if they would like to set up a call with you.
that'd be great. Yeah.
So um, I'd like to throw out some for fun questions at the very end. Just
Okay.
looking for one or two word answers, just so that our listeners can get to know a little bit more about Nikita. So tell us your favorite book.
Oh my goodness. The Alchemist has had the biggest impact on me.
Oh, good one. Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
Oh. This stage of life, introvert.
And who is your favorite artist?
Ooh, artist?
Mhm.
Like any type of artist?
Yeah, you pick. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Sia. I can't believe I'm saying it. Last week it changed everything. Sia.
Awesome. Are you a night owl or a morning lark?
Morning. I'm a morning girl.
And who is your celebrity crush? If
Oh,
you
my
have one.
celebrity crush. Zach Bush, if we can call him a celebrity. He's a waymaker. Um, but one that's a little well known, Johnny Depp. I've had this crush on Johnny Depp since I can remember.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, do you do still or carbonated water, or are you a diet soda fan or some other beverage?
Carbonated water and lemon or lime.
Perfect. And then finally, the furthest place that you have traveled.
That's funny. Arizona for me. I haven't been out of the country yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Didn't you go to the BVI?
No, not yet.
I misunderstood earlier when we were chatting. I thought I heard you say you yourself went.
Oh,
I
well, let's
I see
speak
it in
that
your
into
future.
existence. Yep, that's also something I decided last week.
Perfect. That's so
Yeah.
great. I love that. Nekita, it has been just a joy chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your journey, all the things with our listeners.
My pleasure. Thank you, Megan. It's been fun, been a joy.
Writer, teacher, author, Mormon scholar, and founder of Dialogue Journal, Eugene England said, "My faith encourages my curiosity and awe. It thrusts me out into relationship with all creation and encourages me to enter into dialogue." As a proud member of the Dialogue Podcast Network, my hope is that Living Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast is an extension of that vision. Visit meganskidmorecoaching.com to find this podcast and additional free resources, including the link for a complimentary coaching session. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram for more, or to send me a DM. Help the podcast grow. Please follow, review, and share with a friend.